All right, it makes you have Capricorn rising and sun. This Gemini new moon happening on June 6th is taking place in your eighth house, or sorry, sixth house. And generally, I feel like this is a relatively positive new moon, but there are some mixed messages. So we're going to go over it all. So, one of the things I want to start off with is actually back in August of 2023. Venus came into contact with the sun for her first start of her cycle. And the sun is like the god of the zodiac, the king who gives the mission to each planet. And so when Venus came into contact with the king, he gave her her mission for the year ahead or the time ahead. And now she's checking back in with the sun during this period of time because the sun and Venus are together again at this new moon, which is not that common to have a new moon at the exact same time that Venus is there. So this is important because we want to think back to what was going on in August of 2023 that is having some development take place with now. This was in your eighth house originally when Venus and the sun met up in August. It was in Leo in your eighth house, and you could have had stuff going on that could have felt like a death and a rebirth, that you were maybe processing something emotionally, letting something go, having just a rebirth in some area of your life. Like you were always doing it this way, and then you started to think, what if I did it this way? Or you made a life altering decision. Maybe you stopped a bad habit. Maybe you changed something about yourself. Maybe you decided, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to pay off debt, I'm going to have this breakup. Having some kind of rebirth of your life that feels substantial. So you're going to have some type of, culmination now or milestone now of what started back then. What's happening now might appear more in the area of work, health, and daily routines because this new moon is in your sixth house. So you might see that some of those decisions to transform your life or process some things from the past and let go of insecurities or whatever that was to rebirth yourself is now helping you have like a new beginning within the area of your work, your health, or your routines. So this could look like, again, okay, I decided to stop this bad habit and now I'm like losing weight because of that. Or now I'm getting up at a different time, or my work has progressed because of the way that I've invested free time into this area of my life. So noticing that like starts to pick up and become enhanced for you. There's more to say on that with the astrology, but I do want to kind of turn to the cards because I am seeing something here around this whole rebirth thing still being relevant for you. Especially, I'm getting like a message around not doing something being equally important as what you do decide to do. So we start off with the Judgment and the Page of Cups. The Judgment card is about having some kind of calling or like a realization around something that wakes you up and has you go through this rebirth moment. So that's very much linked with what I was just saying about the sun and Venus meeting up in your eighth house in August. So that energy is still present for you where you had that like wake up call and then an intuitive kind of message or the potential for something new arose with this Page of Cups where it's like, okay, this can't keep going like this. Something has to change. I have to transform myself. I have to go through this butterfly metamorphosis moment. So what, like that, when you enter in this phase of realizing something has to be cut away, something has to be ended, you open up then to like, what else is possible? What would it look like if I didn't do that anymore? What would my life change or look like if I no longer ate that type of food, or if I no longer stayed up all night, or whatever it is? It's going to be totally different for you guys, but it opens up to all this potential, this pure potential energy. But like I mentioned with this, the next card being the Fool in reverse, it's equally important what you're not doing as to what you're doing. So this Fool in reverse is saying there's something that you're not you're divesting in. Maybe you had an idea for something and you're like realizing that it's not the right time, or you don't want to do that thing anymore, or it's not going to serve that purpose for you. And that's actually going to bring you more fulfillment to not have that as like a thing that you're investing your time and energy into. So yes, I don't know what this is applying to for you, but there's something where I feel like you want to divest, where you don't want to put your time or focus or energy there. And often this might be like in regards to, I feel like it's something that is literal, like you have to spend time on it. But it could be a mindset as well. But I think for many of you with this new moon in your sixth house, like you're almost needing to approach the way that your day is structured, or the way that your work is focused, or the way that you take care of your health. It's like you're approaching that through a different lens and not doing certain things that you were doing, like some bad habits or something, or certain work. But this new moon is squaring Saturn in your third house. So I do think that there is this potential to have like limiting beliefs come up with Saturn in the third, like self-criticism, thinking that that's not possible, like kind of like getting in your own head a little bit and limiting yourself quite literally of what you actually feel like you can do. So let's say this is work, for example. It's like, well, I have to work 40 hours a week to get this result. And it's like, well, what if you actually could work and get that same amount done in 20 hours a week? But there could be these kind of societal limitations and these thoughts that you inherit from people around you or from society that could influence you and what you feel like is possible. So just kind of keep that in mind, that there might be some noise and some chatter, and it's important to like differentiate, is that actually authentic from my experience, or is this something that I feel is reflected in society and the beliefs around me, and it's not really resonating, but I'm taking it on out of fear. Another thing about this is that you might be coming into a phase of being like really busy, especially with this new moon being in your sixth house and with Saturn in your third. So there could just be like practical limitations in terms of things that you already have going on. Another element of this square with Saturn in the third is needing to make a hard decision, like needing to have a hard conversation, needing to, needing to kind of be more cutthroat when it comes to how things are going to go and what can stay, what can go type of thing, what's allowed, what's not allowed. And sometimes it's hard to be like decisive with that and focused with that and clear with that, especially with Gemini. It's like it wants a lot of potentials and possibilities. And I feel like, again, this new moon is equally about what you shouldn't be doing as what you should be doing. And it could feel limiting with this square with Saturn in the third to have less options or to have to make a decision. That could feel frustrating for this Gemini energy. Your advice for that specifically is she who is present, now awareness and acceptance. So I feel like it's literally you being more present with yourself, looking around at the current reality and accepting what is. Like there is a cap on my time, a cap on my energy. I have to make a decision. There are practical, realistic limitations in life, and I have to accept the present reality of my situation and work with it to the best of my ability. And that sometimes means making hard decisions. And so I think that that's going to be part of what this rebirth is about, is again, like knowing what you want to divest in. And I think also like leaving that potential energy out there. Like when you don't invest into something, you leave more room for potential, for the things that are really, really good to emerge for you in some kind of capacity. If your life is so full, they might not have the potential to actually manifest in some kind of way. Okay. We have another message for you in the cards, but before I get to that, I want to talk about what else I'm seeing here in the astrology. We also have Mars and Chiron in Aries squaring Pluto in your fourth, squaring Pluto in your second. So there is something here going on that might be triggering like your desire for security and money, and you might be feeling like, I want a house, I want to have investments. I want to feel like financially really stable. I want to have all these needs met, but that might like, yeah, you just might not be exactly where you'd like to be yet in that area. And this is a new moon in the 6th house. So you might have some kind of new job or something with work come to you in order to be able to secure that financially for yourself. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have those thoughts still. So there's just something here with this where I feel like you guys are going to need to have really clear boundaries. There could be stuff coming up like emotionally with family members or people in your life, people that you live with, that could make you feel like you're not secure in some kind of way or protected in some kind of way. 4th, 2nd house, again, it has to do with security. It could be money related, emotionally related. There's just something of like, I feel safe here. I have what I need. I'm protected. I have my boundaries. got my enclosure, my home. And there's something about that security that I think feels threatened in some kind of way. Like that could be somebody crossing your boundary and that emotionally disturbs you. There could be financial insecurity and that emotionally disturbs you. It's like there's something here where I feel like, again, that feels somewhat threatened. And yeah, I see that with the World and the 5 of Swords in reverse. There's some kind of like closure you need around something. Releasing let's talk about releasing past resentments in relationships, reconciling, getting closure with another person. But this doesn't have to be always with another person. So for some of you that will be relevant, where there's maybe a family member or someone from the past you need to get closure with, or some emotional situation you need to have closure with in order to move forward and have like the right boundaries. Maybe it's a relationship with someone in your life, but this could also be in a more like practical sense of like, maybe there's some open ends, some unpaid debts, or some things that are like looming over your head. And it's like, I just need closure around this. I need to make sure that this is fixed so that I can move on and feel secure and feel safe. So I really feel like that's very important for you. Some of you, it might be both of the situations, but for some of you it's financial, and then for some of you it's like relational with the Swords cards, with the Queen of Pentacles and King of Swords. For some of you it's like, I need to literally take care of my home and where I am and like make sure my finances are good, or I need to set the boundaries with this person. I need to have really clear communication, maybe cut things off with someone or forgive them or wrap it up in a bow and have closure around it. I got the Warrior card, which is very much somebody who holds their boundaries and like knows what they want and does what they need to do to get it or to make that happen for themselves and protect themselves. There is just a strong energy around like protection, like kind of like the Cancer in their hermit energy or their shell. It's like there's something about you that I feel like might feel too exposed or vulnerable, or like there's some loose end. And it's like, in order to move on, in order to feel safe, in order to continue to grow, you're going to need to feel safe and protect yourself in some kind of way, have some type of closure around this. I also have for advice, she who sees, observe, perceive, and scrutinize. So there's something in the situation that I feel like is more than meets the eye. And it's helpful, I think, to come in with an open mind, curiosity. It's a Gemini new moon after all. And observe what people say to you, observe where your money is going, observe why you think certain things or why you think that you're having this feeling of uneasiness. Like, I think it's just important to try to see what you can pick up on in regards to this issue, because I think, again, there's more than meets the eye. So that's what I have for you, Capricorn. I think that was the longest out of everybody's. If that resonates, I'd love to hear any comments down below. If you want a reading from me, or if you want to subscribe to my email list so that you don't miss one of these free readings, you can check that out in my description box down below. Don't forget to also like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and have a beautiful day. Bye.